Welcome back to this channel, which is dedicated to Donald Trump. In a previous video, it was highlighted why Donald Trump may have been the best president. If you haven't seen it yet, please click on the link below to watch it. To follow up, Donald Trump has made many great changes during his time as president. There's a strong possibility you missed a lot of them. Here are 10 examples of the many changes Trump has made as president. 1. Trump has made great power competition the emphasis of national security. The national defense strategy of the Trump administration stands out as one of the most significant changes to defense strategy in the recent generation, reorienting the American military to face emerging and more aggressive nations like China and Russia. The huge bureaucracy of the Defense Department was reorganized in 2018 to put more emphasis on long-term strategic rivalry with China and Russia, rather than on battling terrorists and rebels in the Middle East. As a result, the military is altering its methods for training individuals, the technology it purchases, and the regions of the world where it places the highest priority for its forces. A bipartisan majority in Congress has already endorsed significant expenditures and a reorganization of the Pentagon budget, including billions of dollars to strengthen the American military presence in the Asia-Pacific region. 2. Religion in educational institutions. Trump encouraged religious institutions to work in education. At the Education Department, his administration discovered methods to increase government funding for Christian institutions of higher learning. For instance, they altered the rules to make it simpler for members of religious orders to apply for government financial aid, and they extended the federal Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program to include clergy. Additionally, they developed additional safeguards for religiously affiliated campus organizations at public colleges. The prohibition that forbade religious groups from offering publicly sponsored services, like tutoring, technology, and counseling, in private schools was no longer enforced under the Donald Trump administration. 3. Oversight. The Interior Department under Trump established a new bar for disregarding Congress. Although it might have gone unnoticed outside of Washington, Trump's Interior Department established a precedent that is nearly guaranteed to be significant moving forward. It obstructed congressional oversight and escaped punishment. Democrats threatened to issue subpoenas but never did so. Interior agency representatives totally stopped attending House hearings intended to raise complaints with the agency within the latter 6 months of the Trump administration. Future administrations are almost certain to behave in a similar manner given the conduct. 4. Cannabis. Most of the country is now covered in legal marijuana. Despite its rhetoric against marijuana, the Trump administration did nothing while 18 states, including adamantly conservative ones like Mississippi and South Dakota, liberalized their marijuana laws between 2016 and 2020. The federal government maintained a mostly hands-off approach to marijuana legislation despite the antitrust monitoring of cannabis agreements by former Attorney General William Barr. Even while marijuana is still technically banned on the federal level, it is now legal in some form in 36 states, giving the majority of Americans access to the substance. In actuality, more than 1/3 of Americans currently reside in places where marijuana is fully legal. 5. Shell corporations. Trump streamlined the legal process for pursuing financial crimes, like money laundering. The Trump administration pushed Congress to pass the most comprehensive revision of financial crimes protections in decades, measures meant to prohibit money from flowing to terrorists, drug traffickers, and other bad actors. The measure was incorporated into the National Defense Authorization Act, a yearly requirement. The anti-money laundering protections were negotiated by Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin directly with the Republicans and Democrats who drafted the agreement. 6. Defense budget. Trump made it possible to track the money at the Pentagon. You might be surprised to learn that, before Trump, no one had audited the use of American defense money, and that the Pentagon's financial accounting procedures were notoriously clumsy and difficult to understand. The Pentagon accounts for the greatest portion of discretionary spending in the federal budget. For the first time, the Trump administration attempted an audit of the whole Defense Department. Around 600 locations were visited by an army of 1,000 outside accountants, together with 150 employees from the Defense Department Inspector General's office, who gathered 40,000 pages of financial records. The exercise is viewed as a turning point in the quest to one day establish where every penny of our defense tax money is spent. Additionally, the audit work is assisting Pentagon management in reducing waste and increasing program efficiency. During the Biden administration, efforts to increase accountability for Pentagon expenditures are probably going to intensify even more. 7. Unwanted calls. Trump took action against unsolicited calls and messages, and he did so largely effectively. The federal government struggled for years to stop the scourge of annoying automated phone calls that have plagued Americans, 19 billion of these calls in just last year alone. Despite much animosity, Trump and his agency leaders were able to cooperate with Congress to make tremendous progress in reducing, but not yet completely eliminating, the irritation. 8. Health records. Trump made a significant effort to repair healthcare technology. Patients who have had to carry X-ray scans around hospitals, or repeatedly explain their medication allergies, are familiar with the issue that Trump tried to address. Despite spending billions of dollars digitizing the medical records in the healthcare system, the information in those records does not exactly move as quickly as the internet. The Trump administration unveiled a massive package of regulations designed to remove obstacles to the exchange of health data. The administration's regulations have a number of objectives, but they concentrate on behaviors like information blocking, in which providers or businesses withhold information that may give them a competitive edge, and they demand that businesses follow standardized protocols for information flow. 9. Internet improvement. Trump organized a global revolt against Chinese domination in 5G. The Trump administration raised worries about national security related to 5G, claiming that Chinese technology needed to create next-generation Internet networks constituted a danger to Western nations' ability to conduct surveillance. In actuality, this meant that the White House started a campaign against some of China's largest telecom firms, including Huawei, ZTE, and China Telecom. Even TikTok was included in the fray. Trump took a number of different steps to prevent businesses like Huawei and ZTE from entering the American telecom sector and to restrict their ability to do business with American firms. Along with these domestic initiatives, Trump launched a full-court worldwide campaign to persuade America's friends in Europe and other countries not to use Chinese network equipment in any telecom infrastructure. Trump scored successes in nations like Australia and Britain, who decided not to use Huawei for their domestic 5G rollouts. The government also finalized measures to compel smaller U.S. telecom providers to replace any Huawei and ZTE equipment that is still present in their networks. 10. Artificial intelligence. Trump's White House quietly advanced American AI development. Washington is obsessed with outpacing China in the fight for artificial intelligence technical dominance. Despite the fact that some in the sector believe he didn't go far enough, Trump made substantial progress in that regard. In order to increase the federal government's role in fostering the development of AI and to give agencies direction on how to regulate the technology, Trump issued an executive order. The White House has also backed European efforts to create international AI standards. Trump's efforts helped give the U.S. a worldwide presence in the discussion over how to govern AI, even as he withdrew from other areas of international legislation. Despite being charged with several severe offenses, the former president insisted that being indicted would not prevent him from seeking the presidency once more. What do you think? Should Donald Trump lead America one last time? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like this video and follow our account to keep up with the latest news surrounding Donald Trump.